What's up, everybody, and welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. Today we're going to discuss the branched chain amino acid supplements and the BCAAs as a whole, because I feel like there's some information that doesn't really get out there. BCAAs are one of the most popular supplements out there and have been for quite a while. People take them before, during, after, in the middle of the night. They take them all the time, and their claim to fame is they're the 3 amino acids that cause protein synthesis. Now, basically that statement would lead you to believe, as long as you're taking branched chain amino acids somewhere, that you're going to be building muscle. Now, that couldn't be further from the truth. Now, BCAAs have their place, don't get me wrong. They have their place in a program depending on where and when they're put in the right spots, but it's not a blanket statement where everybody can take BCAAs and they'll have this magical great effect. The first thing I want to talk about is BCAAs on a keto diet. Now, I'm not talking about a low carb, like 100 grams or carbs or so. I'm talking about a ketogenic diet. Now, it's been theorized that there are certain things that can throw you out of keto, like carbohydrates, sugars. Well, not theorized, it's been proven. But BCAAs also can throw you out of ketosis, out of ketosis, just like an MCT can throw you out of ketosis. Now, would the ketone strip actually show that you're out of ketosis? Not necessarily, but here's how it works. Now, the MCTs first, of course, they're a easily used fat, a medium chain triglycerides. They're easier to use by the body than a regular fat is, or a long chain triglyceride would be. So therefore, if you take those, you're going to burn those fast. But what happens to the fats that you're trying to burn? Well, they're not going to get burnt, since you're burning the MCT first. Now, the BCAA, a little bit different. Now, I'm going to read this to you guys so that it's coming from, the medical standpoint, so the scientific standpoint, so don't get, Jerry, you're a fucking retard, it doesn't work like that. So second of all, none of this has been proven on an athletic individual. So all the studies on BCAAs and glucagon and insulin and the different ways the hormones work have been done on non-athletic individuals. So there are differences in the way that they work with the body. So BCAAs reduce protein breakdown, i.e. catabolism, okay, which is the breakdown of muscle tissue, by stimulating the release of insulin. Now, insulin on a ketogenic diet is bad, okay? Why? Why is it bad? Well, first of all, you're on a ketogenic diet. You have insulin and growth hormone which work against each other. If one is high, the other one is low. They counterbalance each other. So if the insulin's high, the growth hormone is going to be low. That's not good if you're trying to burn fat. If you're on a keto diet, you're probably trying to burn fat. You're probably not trying to bulk up. Now, as insulin rises, what happens? The body compensates by making a hormone called glucagon, which essentially combats insulin so that you don't wind up dying of insulin shock. And how that works is glucagon actually breaks down muscle tissue. The muscle tissue can be turned into glucose. You now have glucose in your bloodstream. Carbohydrates are broken down into glucose. The glucose is used for energy, stopping the use, or at least limiting the use, of the ketones and the body fat. So this is what happens when you're taking the BCAAs. Now, if you take a large amount of BCAAs, because people seem to think that, well, it's a supplement, it doesn't really have any food value to it. Well, of course it does. Every gram of BCAAs is a gram of protein, which has 4 calories in it. Now, you're probably not going to take in 100 calories worth of BCAAs a day. However, and this is an interesting, and again, this is not something people tell you about, because people don't fucking know. They have no idea. They would have, in this instance, probably would have stopped and looked at another thing besides what was going on in the diet. Let me get to the story first. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. So Kari and I were working together for the first time for the Arnold with her in 2010. And I had not really worked with her. I kind of guided her a little bit and kind of bounced things back and forth when she went from the Pittsburgh to the Junior Nationals in 2009. And she kind of had an inkling already that the very low carb thing works for her. The carb cycling didn't. So I said, well, if you're going to go low carb, you might as well go keto. So she went keto and dropped some fats. Anyway, she got into shape for the show, but we knew restricted carbohydrates for her worked very well, period. So we decided, well, that's the route we're going to go for the Arnold. Now, we restricted the carbs to keto levels, increased the fats, and things are going okay. Now, as she was getting leaner and stuff, she was going to use the BCAAs, and honestly, it didn't make any difference to me. I was like, okay, whatever. it didn't dawn on me, and I honestly didn't think that it would affect the ketosis at all. So she started adding BCAAs to her water, which was a lemonade flavored BCAA that she put in the water. She liked the taste of it and figured, hey, the extra aminos keep her from going catabolic. Makes sense when you think about it, right? Well, lo and behold, she started to gain weight and bloat up. Now, she bloats up when you feed her carbs, whether it's sugar or oatmeal or sweet potato. She retains water with them, so she's very carb sensitive. So all of a sudden we're seeing this bloating and not knowing where the fuck it's coming from. Now, she's not one to cheat on her diet. She's training with me in the gym, so I know things are being nailed exactly. So now we start systematically picking things apart to try to figure out what it is. And that's when I figured, I said, well, shit, the only thing that we've added in really is, I mean, we've added and subtracted some foods, but it's the same foods. It's not like we added something new. The only thing new is the branched chain amino acids. What could be possibly causing this? So that's when I went to work and started researching what in BCAAs could pull you out of ketosis. What can actually stop you from burning fat or limit the amount of fat you're burning that's in BCAAs. And that's when I figured it out. The research was plain and simple. It will actually be broken down. You actually break muscle tissue down into glucose when that whole hormonal situation happens. Now, most people don't fucking know that. And a lot of the people that are using this stuff are using it after a workout, which that's fine. After your workout, even if you ate a chicken breast, you're still going to get BCAAs. Even if you took whey protein, you're still going to get BCAAs. There's protein that's broken down into amino acids in that food anyways. So it's not really going to affect you the same way as if you were, well, actually, if you took it by itself, you're going to have the same situation. The insulin goes up, the glucagon comes on. So the bottom line is, you know, if you took the BCAAs after you're in a keto diet, after your workout with a handful of almonds, that'll stop the body from digesting it too quickly. You'll have more protein from the almonds that'll level things out. Things change when you start combining the foods. However, the BCAAs by themselves can cause issues to keep people from getting leaner, okay, and causing that bloating in carb-sensitive people. And that's the first sign. Like, as soon as you bloat, well, I only bloat when I eat carbs, but I'm not eating any carbs. So what else are you doing? The BCAAs. So you see, they have their place, and they have, you know, the time when they can be plugged in. And I'm not saying that everybody works like this, and I'm also not saying that it's straight across the board, this is what's going to happen. But if you're on a keto diet trying to get leaner and using the BCAAs and something's wrong, look into that. Stop looking at, well, maybe almonds are not working right or this is not working right. Most of the time, it's some little detail that you're not really paying attention to. And when you start breaking things down systematically and pulling things out one at a time, you find what it is. And then you have to go and see, well, if you're like me, try to figure out, well, why? Why does it work like that? And you go look. There's really no studies done on how it works or why it works with athletes, because it works different for an athlete than it would. Systematically, it will work the same, but it may cause some kind of different response in an athlete than it would a regular person. So just be aware. I always count protein powders as food. They have macronutrients in them. They have micronutrients in them. They are basically powdered food. Amino acids, they're just food that are processed into a little pill or powder. They're still foods. Well, any way you slice it, 1,000 milligrams or 1 gram of amino acid is a gram of protein and has 4 calories in it, period. Biohackertraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biohackertraining.com is the blog, and we're the BCAA bicep, and we're out.
Extreme. Make plans to be at the 2014 Blue Ridge Fitness Festival, April 26, 2014. Mark the Machine Lowbliner brings the ANBF Natural Bodybuilding Show to Roanoke, Virginia. Extreme Living brings Jerry Ward of BioS3 Training. More information can be found at extremeliving.biz. We'll see you there.